All right, so today we're going to look at solving systems of equations by graphing. When I say systems of equations, that's more than one equation on the same graph. And so we're going to talk and look at what that kind of looks like here in just a second. So here we have two equations, y equals x plus 3, and then 2y minus 6 equals 2x. What we're going to do is graph both of those and see what happens. So this first one, y equals x plus 3. Actually, you know what? Let me change that color. Let me erase first. Sorry, it's making all kinds of noise, I'm sure. That color's not going to show up very well. So let's try this again. Y equals x plus 3. So in this case, we have a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of 3. So I'm going to use my slope and y-intercept to graph. So I'm going to start at my y-intercept, which is located at 3, right there, and I have a slope of 1. So this is going to be our graph. So there's our line for that first equation. Now for that second one, we actually need to get it into that slope-intercept form. So I'm going to do a little bit of manipulation. So we have 2y minus 6 equals 2x. Remember, we got to get y by itself. So I'm going to add the 6 first. So we have 2y equals 2x plus 6. Now I'm going to divide by 2 on everything. So y equals x plus 3. So if I were to graph this one, again, I have a y-intercept, or I have a slope of 1 and a y-intercept at 3 as well. So essentially what I'm going to have happen here is I'm going to be creating the same line on top of each other. So in this case, basically, because where they intersect is our solution, every single point on these lines are a solution. So we would say that in this case, we have many solutions. So basically, it's an infinite number of solutions because every point on that line is a solution. So let's look at another one. So for the first one, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. We have a slope of negative 2/3 and a y-intercept at 1. So let's go ahead and graph this guy. So my y-intercept is at 1, which is right there, and my slope is negative 2/3. So I'm going to have a rise of 2 and a run of 3, but the 3 will be to the left. So I'm going up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, and I'm going to go the other direction as well. So there's our line, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. So now let's look at the second one. We have 2x plus 3y equals 9. So I'm going to go ahead and graph this by getting y by itself. So I have 3y equals negative 2x plus 9. Everything gets divided by 3. So I'm left with y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. So I have a slope of negative 2/3 and a y-intercept at 3. Hopefully right now you're noticing that the slopes are the same, but let's see what this looks like. So I have a y-intercept at 3 and a slope of negative 2/3. So up 2 over 3. So here's our other equation of the line. So we have these two lines, and because of the slopes being the same, but we have different y-intercepts, these two would be parallel, which hopefully came to you. Because they're parallel, this would mean that there are no solutions because they don't intersect at all, because remember the definition of two parallel lines is that two lines that extend in both directions that will never intersect. All right, let's look at our last situation. Now here we have a couple of equations. Let's start with that first one. We have 2x minus y equals 4, so I'm going to go ahead and get y by itself. So we have negative y equals negative 2x plus 4, divide by negative 1. So y equals 2x minus 4. So let's graph this one. So I have a y-intercept at negative 4 and a slope of 2, so up 2 over 1. So here's our equation or the graph of that line. So now let's do the other one. So in this case, we do not need to do any manipulation. We have a slope of 1/3 and a y-intercept at 1. So here's my y-intercept at 1 and a slope of 1/3. So I'm going to go up 1/3. Ha! I'm actually going to stop right there because we have a point of intersection, which happens to be right here. So what we need to do is figure out the value of that coordinate. So the x value would be 1, 2, 3. So this would be 3. And the y value would be 2. So our solution for this case, in this case, would be 3, 2, which means we have one solution. Keep in mind that you guys can be given a graph and tell me the solution, or you can even tell me the equations by using your y-intercept and your slope. So it can go in both directions.